Every time I watched movies I was really into, I always thought,
why does it look so good?
Composition. We all heard about these abstract concepts, right? And we all face it daily in art, in games, of course in movies, in manga and comics, and of course in the ego perspective of from our own point of view. But recognizing this is kind of subconscious. We don't think what a nice composition, right? I want to bring this subconscious into the conscious part of our brain to roughly get an idea of the systems of composition, and then I try to bring it back to the intuitive part of my brain and try to learn it in a way I don't think of how to apply a composition that exists, but come up with my own. And in the end, we will see if I succeed in this. So stay tuned and let's start this little journey here with chapter 1. Composition explained. Well, kind of. So let's start with the conscious part, or the better said, analytical part. So there are common compositions like the golden ratio that leads the eye of the viewer to a focal point, or the rule of thirds, where you see right in the middle these focus points or horizon or skylines that many take inspiration from. And there's also stuff like the golden triangle, and these are kind of helping tools to recognize a composition. But I think I won't say no more about these. Let's now cover just a little bit what elements compositions are, and let's find a general definition of it. And I really want to cut this part short and get fast to the intuitive part. As a definition, I would say composition is kind of arranging elements in a certain frame to evoke appeal, to make a picture looking harmonic and attractive to others. And how do we exactly achieve it? There are certain elements that can help you to create a good composition. Well, the base is obviously the frame, because that's the first shape you're looking at. So mostly when watching TV or looking at your smartphone, something like that, it's a rectangle. In manga and in comics, of course, it can differ. You can also adjust and be creative with panel size to change these first frame. But in the end, it comes to shapes. And there are 3 basic shapes: cube, triangle, and circle. And you can place them in a scene, make some big and some small, and create contrast and avoid monotony and repetition in this placement. And this is the very first start of having a composition. And these simple shapes always serve as an essential foundation. And then you can play around with contrast, whatever it is. Is it light or dark, or is it sharp and smooth? Is it one versus many? Is it structure versus chaos? That is something you can play with. People react often more to faces or figures or people. That's just how we work. So a good composition or even a landscape should at least contain one guy or girl or humanoid to make it more appealing to the viewer. And that's the top of the iceberg, I would say. Plus, diving the head into water a little bit. Of course, there is more to it. I really recommend to look at the video of Blender Guru. He's talking about 3 stages: the focal element, structure, and balance. that build up on each other to make a good composition, but that would just explode the content of this video. So that's for the understanding part. Yeah, we will continue by getting this into our mind by just observing and copying. So that's why we come to the next, and yeah, starting to the next chapter and starting to get it slowly more unconscious. Chapter 2, drawing 50 thumbnails. So my task was here to look at my favorite movies, series, and pick 50 scenes which are my favorite, and then try to thumbnail it. This means I don't have to do finished drawings. I just have to capture the composition elements that I can notice. This was a really humble start. Okay, so yeah, at the beginning there was Requiem. It's barely recognizable, and there's some kind of symmetry here between, or a mirrored symmetry here between the woman and the man, and a kind of circular shape around them, and yeah, the black clothes is some lighter background, but I couldn't quite capture it. And the next one is even not recognizable. Here Dune is a little bit better. We have a heavy contrast to get, yeah, the scale of the scene. These tiny humans, the big sandworm. But it really did click first when I drew Jinx from Arcane. When I started to use values, and then the contrast was way more easy for me to capture. Yeah. Also here I started with using light in this Joker scene, but it wasn't that good at all. So yeah, I screen by Disney, Ghost in the Shell, there we got Leon the Professional, and Vaiana. This is also quite cool. There was a big light, or a mist of light coming out of the eye and the mouth, and also from the stone in her hand. So yeah, that's really cool. Then we got Sing Street, Kick-Ass, Star Wars 1. This is Mad Max. We have, yeah, kind of a rule of thirds stuff here. The most important part, yeah, in the inner third here. Then close to the down third, we have here this horizon line. Yeah, and the contrast is really her to the sand around her. She's really a relative dark. This is from Blade Runner, Denis Villeneuve, a great director who's always really good at creating compositions and stuff like that. Princess Mononoke, Breakfast Club, Blade Runner again. This is Altered Carbone, Blade Runner again, Joker, Star Wars. Also really great scene, I think. Lord of the Rings, and here this is a very old movie. I couldn't get the name right now, but this is a perfect example for rule of thirds. So yeah, this focal points, just roughly. So it's, I can show you, it's not exactly thirds. But you can already see this is orientating on this, the horizon line on this upper third, but the most stuff is happening close to the focal points here, there. Yeah, it's closely to match, and also here the eye direction, which is also in the inner part here. So yeah, that's really readable, and easy to see that there's some rule of thirds happening here. Yeah, then we get Blade Runner again with this nice curves and some focal elements. That's what I really like. We got, this is Prometheus Alien, I think, from the intro, also rule of thirds. This is close to Golden Triangle. Yeah, from Inception. Then we got Princess Mononoke again. I really like the camera angle. That's like running towards the viewer, close to breaking the fourth wall. iRobot. And also this top view and very close to the ring is super cool, I think. I don't know if that's a composition, but it doesn't always have to have a name, right, to look good. This is Dune, where, yeah, I think I made this coat. It's really cool, and I also like the face. Couldn't get this movie name, but here we have kind of a round shape or round lines. Great contrast to the dark on the front and very constructed. Harry Potter, Totoro. This war movie that's supposed to be or should look like one scene with no cuts. I don't remember the name. Leon the Professional has a nice depth, this scene. Dune again. This is Arcane Season 2. This is Arcane Season 1, last episode. Also great composition. We have here some guiding lines that lead the viewer to what's actually important here. And again, this line is the upper, the down third. Yeah, so rule of thirds also here. And of course, contrasting shapes. We have a big circle in the middle here, and we have some more edgy and rectangular and sharp edges. That's a nice contrast that is even supporting the contrast of light and dark itself. So, a great scene. And then, yeah, Jinx, this is more just a close-up shot, but I like the tension in this shot, and I wanted to come back to line art at some point. We got Blade Runner again. This is Breaking Bad. This is Jesse with a gun pointing towards the camera. We got Jinx again. Kind of messy, this one. Yeah. Arcane Season 2. This should be, how was she called? Raya? Dragon? Something with a dragon, a Disney movie. Vaiana or Moana. Yeah, with the chicken here. I kind of messed up these ones here, but at this stage I tried to experiment more with other pencils or brushes. So without the people, it looks quite cool, I think. Okay, moving on to Sunshine, a relatively old sci-fi movie, I think 2008 or so. Also, the sun, great contrast between shapes and, yeah, also light and dark. Cool silhouette here right in the middle. Gets the intensity of the sun right. We have, yeah, a dual situation. This is also Raya and this dragon thing. To opponents, yeah, let's get back to it. Facing each other. This is supported here by the sunlight. It's like highlighting the silhouettes in front. This is Spider-Man, obviously. So very cool because like turning around the perspective in total. Yeah. Close to golden triangles. This is arcane again. And the last one is atomic blonde, I guess. Yeah. I just wanted to finish this stuff at this point, so this is really messy. I was so angry about the outcome that I just redrew at least the person on the right here. It's a little bit better, yeah. What we didn't cover here is actually the golden ratio. I didn't find it in one of the examples, but maybe if you overlay the golden ratio with some of these, you will find it somewhere. So that really helped me to see some patterns and to get this stuff with the values right over time. Okay, chapter 3, intuitive composition. Let's now remember or remind ourselves to when we were children and just iterated on stuff to learn it. Like letters in school back then. So the same idea is here with iterations. Think of simple elements like church, crowd, and land, and then, do a lot of frames and try to change every time a little bit to make it better or come up with new ideas. And that's the best way to improve and come up with own ideas. And the last one here with mountain, ocean, and a person is the composition I want to go for myself. Yeah, and bringing this to you, better said, check Cycro's video on iterative drawing. It really is a banger. Okay, now chapter 4, creating my composition. I choose these ones to sketch more detail in that, and let me give you some context here. For some time I created some kind of Valkyrie character concept that evolved over time and get more minimalistic, and I'm currently trying to develop a 2D game, Godot, a platformer where you are stranded on the last mountain that is actually called the Bleeding Mountain, and the rest of the world is already an ocean of blood. So you're like climbing up the mountain, trying to escape the ocean for as long as you can, and that's about it. It's a mini game, so I need a cover for that, and that's why I need a composition. So let's go. So in this first version, I was really close to my first iterations, and I thought, because Bleeding Mountain, it's clear that I look for like lava stone or something like that, like looking really like roots or something, or coal, and made the ocean wavy, added some values here, and wanna like focus on the pose like she's having a hard time going up there. And the blood is really like flowing in rivers and river-like fountains from the mountain down. Something like this. A really dark sky, and I also wanted to have some contrast between the ocean and the dark mountain, and I was adding a kind of light beam to lead the eye of the viewer. This gets obvious here in the final version, but I was not too happy with this one. I think it was a little bit too close, not showing the mountain enough. So I started again. I wanted a bigger scale to see the mass of the mountain, to make it a huge task, to climb this thing up. And it should be more dramatic, and I want to have contrast in size between the character, the ocean, and the mountain. And yeah, to exaggerate it more. I think, yeah, that's the right explanation for this one, because we have no RPG or something. We don't need to be too close to the character to show like how she's feeling and what she's gone through or whatever. No, it's in the game about the journey, the platforming, and yeah, the huge task itself. So that's why I made this decision for this huge mountain. Yeah, so in this mountain also really dark rocky parts, but some like washed out parts by the blood. Yeah, and there you can see I made it much more fine, not too big fountain-like. I think that's kind of cool. Experimented with some fonts, but yeah, adjusting and giving it some glow to, yeah, not so you not have to search the character here. And yeah, some fine adjustments. I really like the beam from the first version to lead the eye. That's kind of cool. And this is the final result. I'm really happy. Back then I wasn't able to do this, so nice. Extra. The art curriculum I currently follow. So this is really a single PNG file following found on Reddit. This is a whole learning structure for artists. It's free. Just search for free art curriculum by Modern Day James. You will find it. And I'm currently at this chapter, creative composition. Now I'm finally moving on to chapter 2. It's amazing. If you want to learn to draw but struggle to find structure, don't know where to begin, what comes first, what comes then, how often to practice, how to practice, yeah, you are on the right place here. Every unit or subchapter there is a paid recommendation to learn this stuff, in this case composition and storytelling, but there are also free alternatives in every chapter. And we always got a challenge, so you can really test yourself and improve, and it's such an amazing thing. I will keep following it even if it takes me a long time. Extra 2. The real result with color. Yeah. Values are not enough, I think. So I tried to experiment with, yeah, some greenish stuff and some reddish stuff. I made the mountain slightly green. First the blood was like, yeah, glowing, but then I made it darker and yeah, some muddy brownish sky. The character in slightly green based on the concept with brown hair. And I think now it looks really cool. Yeah, that's the final result. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.